This is in, out, in, out. And it's a piece of cake.
You're telling me a 3-minute scan can save your life?
Yeah, we spend more time getting an oil change for our car. That means a hell of a lot less than our lives.
Lung cancer is a tough topic. It's a disease that affects patients, families, friends, co-workers. But first, it's a disease that affects people.
Advances in lung cancer treatments over the last few years have made it possible to live with lung cancer for years after diagnosis.
The Hope with Answers Living with Lung Cancer podcast brings you stories about people living, truly living with lung cancer, the researchers dedicated to finding new breakthrough treatments, and others who are working to bring hope into the lung cancer experience.
Hi, I'm Jim Pantelas. I'm a 20-plus year lung cancer survivor, and I'm here today with my friend, Dr. Drew Moghanaki.
That's amazing. 20 years after stage 3B. I'm Drew Moghanaki. I'm a professor and chief of thoracic oncology in the UCLA Department of Radiation Oncology. I'm also a staff physician at the VA healthcare system at Greater Los Angeles, where I co-direct our lung precision oncology program that focuses a lot of its energy on getting veterans screened. We're here today to talk about screening, aren't we?
That's what I hear.
Do you know how good screening works? Does it actually save lives?
It does. It does. And it works really, really well at the VA. The VA is currently screening more than 50% of their current eligible service population. They're finding lung cancer at early stages at over 50% of the time. So they're performing or outperforming the civilian services providers dramatically.
Do you know why I'm excited that we're catching cancers earlier?
Because they're treatable.
Yeah, and while I know that veterans and anyone with lung cancer likes to be cured, those of us who are in the business of curing lung cancer like to cure people too.
And those of us that are in the process of dealing with lung cancer want more options, and you get a lot more options when you're diagnosed early.
You sure do. And unfortunately, lung cancer is a silent killer. They can grow for months to years, spreading throughout the body. There's no signs, there's no symptoms until it's too late. And we get a lot of patients showing up in an emergency room, coughing up blood, or they're half paralyzed because the tumor went to their brain and paralyzed them, or it's in their back and it hurts so much that they just, over-the-counter pain medicine isn't going to work. And have you ever met anyone who's presented with metastatic disease the first time they knew it?
Me.
Wow.
I was diagnosed at stage 3B.
And you weren't screened, were you?
I was not screened. 20 years ago, screening wasn't an option.
There was no screening.
There was no screening. But I presented with exhaustion, what I thought was muscle pain, and clubbing in my fingernails and toenails. My fingernails and toenails got round in appearance instead of being elongated like they normally would. And what it really was the result of was the body works in really bizarre ways. When the lungs can't produce enough oxygen, they have to deny oxygen somewhere. What they ended up, in my instance, doing was denying oxygen to the bones. So I was having bone pain, not joint pain. I was exhausted, and the clubbing was a natural result of denial of oxygen.
So you had a lot of advanced symptoms before you knew.
I did. I had about 9 months of us trying to figure out what was going wrong.
Well, Jim, I think you're very lucky you didn't have stage 4 disease, because unfortunately it's incredibly rare to ever cure anyone with stage 4 disease. So you had stage 3 disease, So if you had been detected early, we know your treatment would have been pretty simple.
Right.
A simple surgery or a simple stereotactic radiation. However, your treatment wasn't simple. You want to tell us how about what was required to cure your stage 3 lung cancer?
Well, I went into the operating room to have what was called a lobectomy because they thought that the lung cancer was confined to one tumor.
And there's 5 lobes in the lungs, and they took one of them out.
They took 2 of them out.
2 out of 5 lobes. So you only have 3 lobes left to breathe with.
Correct.
Then what happened?
And then they discovered that it had spread, which is why they ended up taking out 2 lobes, but it had also spread to all of the lymph nodes that they removed. So they didn't know the boundaries of how far it had spread.
So the surgeon wasn't able to get it all,
Right.
which we wish they can when they go in.
So we followed up with what's called adjuvant chemo and radiation, but we did the chemo and radiation in what was then a trial mode, or
How old were you at that time?
I was 53.
You were 53.
52, I'm sorry.
52.
Yeah.
And by today's standards, would you have been eligible for screening?
Yes.
But so because you weren't, it showed up as stage 3. Poor thing. You got surgery and chemotherapy
Yes.
and radiation therapy. God bless you for getting through that and making it through. But my God, it didn't have to be so difficult. So what's it been like living 20 years with only half of your lungs?
Oddly enough, I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive and grateful that 20 years ago I wasn't struck by a bus, because I've spent the last 20 years saying goodbye. I've spent the last 20 years breathing and enjoying every breath.
You shared with me yesterday, or you shared with a lot of people yesterday, one of the things that gives you the greatest joy. You want to share that again? What gives you great joy in life?
My daughters, being alive, watching them grow. See, on the day that I was diagnosed 20 years ago, my wife was 6.5 months pregnant with our first child.
Wow.
We now have 3. So I would have never had children. I would have never experienced
Or you could say
watching
that,
them
that
grow.
family wouldn't have existed.
Well, certainly the second 2, and they're my joys. They're now 15, 17, and 19. So I consider myself both lucky and blessed.
Why do you think you got lung cancer?
I think it's a combination of things. According to the Navy and the VA, I have asbestosis complicated by lung cancer and COPD.
And which branch were you in?
Navy.
Navy. And what did you do in the Navy?
I was a computer technician, and I worked on advanced or experimental computer systems.
So you were one of the smart guys in the Navy.
No, I don't think so. But I was the youngest in the installation I was in, and we were pulling equipment in and out of that installation all the time because we were trying to make it. We were building the world's first 7 terabyte open access platform to store intelligence data. And to do that...
Are you sure this is declassified?
It is now, I hope.
I think it's important for everyone to know that what causes lung cancer doesn't cause it overnight. It's through years and decades of exposures.
Yeah.
You're one of the most knowledgeable people I know who's explored, investigate to figure out what causes lung cancer in addition to cigarettes. We know that cigarettes damages the immune system of the lungs, allowing these cancers to grow and spread. But tell me more about some of the other things you've discovered that may be causing lung cancer that we just haven't studied enough.
Well, asbestos, cigarette smoking, which I was exposed to both of those. I also lived in an area most of my life that had higher levels of radon than is normal.
That's 3.
For other vets, we've got a lot of toxic exposures. In my era, which is the Vietnam era, we had Agent Orange. In Desert Storm and in the Iraq-Afghani wars, we've had burn pits, we've had depleted uranium, and most of the bases that we built or used in Afghanistan were built on former Soviet bases, and the Soviets used a lot of asbestos. There are also exposures to, because U.S. bases are often placed in areas that aren't urban, they're convenient outside of the base. They're convenient places to build incinerators for the local governments, things like that. So our troops get exposed to a lot of potential toxins.
So it comes down to airborne hazards, all sorts of stuff that you breathe in, whether at short distance where you're drilling holes into some material that no one knows how dangerous it can be, to fumes. I think of paint stripping materials that is often used in the Air Force. You've got all sorts of stuff being incinerated in burn pits, and that black smoke is being inhaled. You've got kids who may have never smoked a cigarette in their lives, but when they went to the military when they were younger, decades ago, as I understand, it doesn't happen anymore, but back in the days, when they were hungry and they would look for their rations, a pack of cigarettes in there. And even in 1991, some of the kids being sent to Iraq were getting cigarettes. And one of them told me they didn't know what to do with it. They would just light it up and stick it in the sand to keep the bugs away. So the military had contracts with tobacco companies, and the tobacco was flowing to these kids. And a lot of these kids, when they came back, 18, 19, 20, were addicted for life and couldn't get away from smoking.
Let me add to that just for a bit. I'm ex-Navy. In the Navy, it was called the smoking lamp. And when the smoking lamp was lit, you got to take a break and have a cigarette. If you didn't smoke, you didn't get to take a break.
Oh, boy.
In the Army, it was, if you got them, you can smoke them. You know, it was you can light up and take a break, or you can keep working. And there was that general attitude that you never got to light up if you weren't safe. Right? Nobody lights up in a war zone. Nobody lights up under fire. So if you're someplace that you're safe, you can relax, you can have a smoke.
I don't want to keep talking about cigarettes forever, but ultimately, we're trying to reach an audience. We're trying to reach veterans who smoke. We're trying to reach veterans who smoke too much. Because if you smoked, we really hope they get their lungs screened. How many years did you smoke?
Oh, I had about a 40-pack year history.
How many?
That means that I smoked the equivalent of 1 pack a day for 40 years. In reality, I smoked about 2 packs a day for 20 years.
How long ago did you smoke your last cigarette?
It's been a little over 25 years, but I still smoke in my dreams.
That's what I was going to get at. You still are a smoker, aren't you? You feel like one.
When it becomes a part of your self-image. And you develop your self-image when you're young, right? And all of my heroes when I was young smoked. My dad smoked.
Oh, it was cool.
My uncle smoked. Dwight Eisenhower and John F. Kennedy smoked. Our heroes smoked.
I'm very comfortable admitting to you, I tried to smoke to be cool. It made me cough too much. And it didn't make me feel addicted at all to the nicotine. It didn't do anything to me.
See,
but it was the cool thing to do, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. But I would caution you on one thing. military vets have a lot of exposures to toxins that even without smoking should be deemed grounds for screening if they show any kind of symptoms.
To get the message out, if someone's watching this, or either they smoke too much or they know someone who smoked too much, how do you get screened for lung cancer? Is it painful?
It's not. It's literally a test that you go in, you lay down on a bench.
Yeah.
The bench draws you into the CAT scan. The CAT scan is a big donut. Draws you in, pulls you out. Draws you back in a second time, pulls you back out. The whole thing takes less than 3 minutes.
That sounds too good to be true.
You don't take your shoes off. You don't take your shirt off. If you're wearing a great big gold chain, they might ask you to take that off. But that's about it.
You got to take your dog tags off?
Yeah, you should have to. They're metal.
Yeah.
But it's not an MRI. A lot of people confuse it with an MRI, which is a longer duration.
30 minutes.
It's 30 minutes. You're inside the device for a long period of time. This is in, out, in, out. And it's a piece of cake.
You're telling me a 3-minute scan can save your life?
Yeah, we spend more time getting an oil change for our car. That means a hell of a lot less than our lives.
So what the heck is wrong with people? Why aren't people like veterans who are being told by public awareness campaigns like this one that you should get your lungs screened? Is it okay if I say you should get your damn lungs screened?
You should.
You think anyone would be offended if I said if you smoke,
Not
get
a
your
vet.
damn lungs screened?
Not a
Get your
vet.
damn lungs screened. I've been wanting to say this for a long time. Thank you for giving me permission to say it. What's wrong? Why are people not getting screened?
I think they're not hearing enough about it.
They just don't
One,
know.
they don't know. They don't know. They don't know that a diagnosis of lung cancer isn't a death sentence.
Is lung cancer curable?
Lung cancer is curable.
Are you living proof of it?
I'm alive.
Stage 3.
My daughters are here because lung cancer is survivable. Right? It's not the death sentence that it once was. Lung cancer is completely different because we have more options, because we have screening, because if we catch it early. And the key to screening isn't going in and getting a scan once. It's starting at 50, going in and getting a scan once a year, 3 minutes once a year. 3 minutes.
Less than an oil change.
Less than an oil change. You get it so that at 54, 55, if they find a nodule, they can watch it. They can watch it, and maybe they say, oh, come back in 6 months. We want to watch this one more closely. Because a lot of people will have nodules. They just won't be growing, and they won't be cancer.
Jim, have you met people who don't want to get screened?
Yes.
Why don't they want to get screened?
Because they may feel like they've had multiple exposures. Maybe they smoked and were around burn pits. Maybe they smoked and were around depleted uranium. And they're afraid that they'll get a diagnosis and there won't be options for them.
So they think that they already have a death sentence, so what's the point of knowing?
Right.
How do we convince them that that's not true and that all cancers start at stage 1 when they're curable before they become incurable?
Well, I think you just said it. All cancers start somewhere, right? And lung cancers, most lung cancers are pretty slow growing. So if we can catch them at stage 1, they're curable. If we can catch them at stage 2 or stage 3, they're manageable. If we can catch them at stage 4, we can still provide quality of life for some time. The changes in treatment options for lung cancer has changed so dramatically in the last 15 years.
Are people worried about the costs of screening?
They may be.
Should
but
they?
No,
Why is
because
that?
there is no cost to screening.
Screening is free.
Screening is always covered.
That's amazing. It's a free test.
Both on the civilian side and on the veteran side. It's a free test. And if they find it early, they can really take care of it.
Yeah.
And it's not always surgery anymore. Now it can be this pinpoint radiation that's just phenomenal that you know more about than anybody.
Did you know it
that
can
I
be
know.
delivered in one treatment now?
Are you serious?
A single session of radiation, 10 minutes. You can keep the meter running, and you also don't have to take off your shoes. We can scan someone in 3 minutes.
Okay.
We can cure them in 10. Get on with the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And if you're still smoking, please stop smoking.
Bring your buddy. Bring your wife. Bring your spouse. Get them scanned too. They may not qualify for getting scanned at VA, but they will at the local hospital.
Yeah.
Have them get scanned too. This saves lives, and it's not just about vets, it's about all the people around our vets.
Let's talk about access to VA healthcare. So there's about 20 million veterans in the U.S. Only about half of them have access to the
Yep.
VA. I think your message is, if you're part of the VA healthcare system, you're set.
Yeah.
Policy changed. Every VA hospital offers screening. All you have to do is ask, you'll get screened.
Yep.
What if you're not in the VA and you got to use the civilian healthcare system? Can they also get screened there?
Talk to your primary care physician. Ask them to refer you to the local provider of screening. And screening is covered.
Yeah, in VA, we've created a culture where it's all hands on deck.
Yeah.
We don't leave any veteran behind.
Yep.
All of our patients are veterans. We know lung screening saves lives, and we're doing it. And I almost think of, breaks my heart that if a veteran, you don't have access to this, to the VA healthcare system, you don't have access to this cultural environment, which is to not leave anyone behind. So maybe there's a call to action here that if you're a veteran or you know someone who's a veteran outside the VA, that we need to wrap our arms around this person and get them screened.
We don't leave anybody behind. We don't leave our friends behind. We don't leave our spouses and the people we love behind. If they smoked, if they qualify for screening, they don't have to come to the VA. Just ask them, beg them to get screened.
So lung cancer is curable. Why do you think people don't think it's curable? It reminds me of HIV. There's, I think, some people still today who might think HIV is incurable. But look at Magic Johnson. How is he still alive?
How am I still alive?
How are you still alive?
Exactly.
So do we think people aren't getting screened because they don't think it's curable?
I think a lot of people aren't getting screened because they've never met anybody that survived. And part of that is that it is an invisible disease. It doesn't have symptoms until it's way too late, right? So they've known people that got lung cancer, got diagnosed at stage 4, weren't around for long.
You should come to my clinic, my follow-up clinic.
Huh?
Everyone's alive. And they're doing great. They're living longer and better lives, and they're alive and they're breathing without oxygen.
I had a pulmonary function test not too long ago. I have 95% lung capacity.
Wow.
I'm missing 2/3 of my right lung, right? Or 3/4 actually, and I have 95% lung capacity. It's amazing how resilient your body can be.
You can take out a lot of lung tissue and still do fine. So I don't know. I mean, maybe some people are scared of surgery, and if you pick the right patient, they'll get through surgery just fine.
Well, and if you catch it early, you don't need surgery. You can do this with radiation.
Correct. It went small
You
enough.
know,
Yeah.
there are a lot of options that people have. We just need to give them the options by detecting it early.
Get your lungs screened.
Get it done today.
If you know someone who you think can benefit from lung screening, please make the time to talk to them. It's so simple. We wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't helping. And lung cancer is curable. Let's catch it early and get to a point where someday no one dies of lung cancer.
And to learn more, visit lcfamerica.org for all kinds of information. Thank you.